Capital News tonight. President Dr. John Magufuli dissolves Parliament. ATCL flies back 249 Tanzanians who are stranded in India. And in sports, Tanzania Amputee Football Federation TAF designs the number 13 jersey of the national team, Temple Warriors, in honor of former player Nestori Luglang. Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. I am Vanessa Victor. Let's get things started with the national news. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. John Magufuli, today dissolved the 11th Parliament ahead of the general elections in October, where he announced that all activities that had been shut down due to the coronavirus, including all schools, be reopened on June the 29th of this year. The occasion was attended by various leaders, including former presidents, ambassadors, and heads of defense and security organs.
Napenda nitumie nafasi hii kutangaza kwamba kuanzia tarehe 29, nafikiri itakuwa Jumatatu, mwezi huu wa Juni, shule zote.
I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that from the 29th of this month, all schools will be opened. In addition, as other activities which were not allowed, like weddings, continue. Life must get back to normal like it was previously.
Kuzingatia ushauri unaotolewa na wataalamu wetu wa afya.
Tumeifanya kazi, tumeitenda kazi. Wabunge hawa wamewatumikia Watanzania kwa uaminifu mkubwa sana.
We've worked hard. Members of Parliament have served Tanzanians and done so faithfully and have given me their utmost support. I know sometimes there is a lot going on, but it is in the process of conducting parliamentary business.
Furahi sana kusikia hotuba nzuri sana ya Mheshimiwa Rais ya ufungaji wa.
We've had a very good speech from Honorable President in dissolution of Parliament, that a large proportion of President's directive has been achieved.
Ya maelekezo ya ilani na maelekezo ya Mheshimiwa Rais wakati anafungua bunge yametekelezwa.
Tukikubwa ambacho hatutamsahau. What we shall never forget him is the headquarters in Dodoma. We've waited for this for so long, and many of us never expected it.
Education stakeholders have commended President Dr. John Magufuli's decision to reopen all schools on June 29th, following a decline on COVID-19 infections in the country.
Tumepokea kwa furaha kwa sababu tumekaa muda mrefu sana nyumbani.
We are happy because we've been long and it was expensive to pay a tutor to teach you from home. Children were just at home roaming the streets. This is great for parents. We commend Honorable President.
Sisi kama wadau wa elimu tumepokea kwa furaha sana kwa sababu
education stakeholders have received the news positively because teachers and students were sitting idle.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam has charged the former president of Acacia, Deodatus Mwanyika, and others to pay a 1.5 billion shilling compensation after pleading guilty to charges of tax evasion. The accused were also sentenced to pay a 1.5 million shilling fine or be jailed for 4 months. Apart from Mwanyika, other co-accused include the relations manager at Bulyanhulu Mine, Alex Lugendo, the managing director of Pongea and North Mara, as well as Bulyanhulu Mines, Asa Mwaipopo, who have already paid the fines. The defendants who pled guilty are accused to have on May 2008 and December the 31st, 2008 at various spots in Dar es Salaam, Kahama in Shinyanga, and Biharamulo, Kagera, of having submitted false reports to the Commissioner of Tanzania Revenue Authority, TRA, with the intention of evading paying tax worth $9,309,600 to Tanzania Revenue Authorities. And 8 members of a family at Mwanyanje Street in Uyole area, Mbeya City, have become homeless after their house was gutted down by a fire caused by an electrical fault. The fire and rescue force was called to put out the fire, which also destroyed 3 shops built in front of the house.
We were inside the house, but when the fire broke out, we had to come out, and so there was a lot of smoke. I called TANESCO and they came to disconnect the electricity. We received a call about a house burning, so I quickly came here and called the fire and rescue service. When I got here, everything in the house was burnt. Luckily, no one was injured.
The East Africa Business Council, EABC, is expected to meet and discuss economic challenges that have begun to emerge between Tanzania and Kenya after both countries shut down their borders.
Tumepata taarifa kwamba viongozi wa baraza la biashara la Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki wako tayari sasa kwa ajili ya tufanye mazungumzo, tuongee nao.
And Air Tanzania Company Limited, ATCL, has flown back to the country 249 Tanzanians who were stranded in India since the outbreak of the coronavirus, which has affected air travel.
Na jana ndege iliondoka hapa kwenda Mumbai.
Yesterday an aircraft left for Mumbai, first by going to Delhi and came back. We managed to carry passengers to India who were in Tanzania and were not able to leave because of COVID-19. Today we've received 249 Tanzanians from India, amongst them are students and those who had gone there to seek treatment, business owners, and those who had gone to visit relatives. There are Tanzanians still in India, but this is not the only trip. There will be additional trips to bring them home. But we've had requests from other countries too.
Several girls from various secondary schools in Arumeri district, Arusha region, have been rescued from early marriages during the coronavirus school break. As Tanzania marks the Day of the African Child, the director of an organization that deals with women and children's rights, CWCD, Hindu Mbwego, said that this has been contributed to by an increase in awareness amongst children on their rights.
Mtoto wa Warikokola ambaye alikuwa form 3, shule ya Uchoro was form 3.
There was a form 3 student girl who ran away on her way to being married off, and she ran to the teacher who managed to save her.
Mfano mtoto wa kifugaji anapoenda na mifugo.
When a girl is herding cattle, she could be in an area where it is hard to have access to education. This means that most are not registered when they reach an age-going school.
That's all for the national news. International news is next. And now in international news. The Election Commission in Uganda has banned public campaign rallies and has directed candidates to use television, radio and social media platforms instead. The announcement comes a few days after President Yoweri Museveni proposed that each household be given a radio and 2 television sets for each village during election campaigns due to the coronavirus pandemic.
The gathering of
mass gatherings are among things that have been banned in the country to reduce a speed of spread of coronavirus. In light to that, campaigns have been banned. All candidates will have to conduct their campaigns through media. The Electoral Commission recognizes the constitutional right of citizens to vote and choose their leader democratically. All that we need is to ensure a health and safe environment in exercising that right.
And the Ministry of Health in Kenya has confirmed 133 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours. Among them, 88 are male and 45 female, bringing the tally recorded so far to 3,860. The Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has said that 40 more patients have been discharged after recovering from the disease, bringing the number of recoveries to 1,326.
Appreciating that restaurants have been observing the protocols, and arising out of those discussions and reflecting on restaurant behavior, NAC has directed that the hours of business for restaurants, I repeat, for restaurants, will be extended to 7:30 p.m.
Have 84 healthcare workers infected with COVID across the country, and so to reduce that infection and to ensure that healthcare workers are available to serve Kenyans during this COVID-19 period, the protection needs to be amplified and ensure that we have adequate protection for all the doctors.
And as we have all seen, close to 70% of the cases of COVID-19 in Kenya are asymptomatic. This means me and you today, we are not coughing, who are not sneezing, who don't have any chest problems, could be having the coronavirus unless we test.
Parliament in Rwanda has approved the cooperation deal between Rwanda and Russia on establishment of a center for nuclear science and technology in the country. This aims to enable the country to speed up development. However, some opposition members of Parliament have expressed concern on the deal.
How are we going to compete internationally?
How are we going to compete in international platforms if we don't have technology and nuclear science? One cannot succeed in the medical, minerals, agriculture, education and pharmaceutical sectors without nuclear science. Thus, it is important that we relook again at this matter because it is an important development project for our economy. Engaging in nuclear projects might bring about hazardous impacts to Rwandans and all surrounding the Great Lake region. Not only that, such projects requires huge funds and even the foundation of creating nuclear weapons.
As African countries mark the Day of the African Child, commemorated every June the 16th in the Democratic Republic of Congo, children continue to face hardships brought on by various factors, including lack of security.
I urge international organizations to help us end conflicts in Congo so that children can live safely and develop their brains positively. Children in Congo are suffering due to fights and diseases, leaving many children left orphans and live in hardships.
That is all for the international news. We'll be back with business news after this very short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And now in business news. 2 million tons of sunflower seeds are required by industries to produce edible oil that will meet the market demand of 570,000 tons. Currently, local industries produce 205,000 tons of edible oil, making it necessary to import so as to meet the domestic demand.
Tuna zao la alizeti.
In the country, we have sunflower farming, a foundation for edible oil production. Thus, almost 2 million tons of sunflower seeds are needed to fulfill the task effectively. The move will make our domestic factories remain reliable in producing enough edible oil according to our demand.
Tanzania Revenue Authority TRA in Mwanza region has started to provide taxpayers education to shop owners. This is in order to address their challenges, with some entrepreneurs calling for a more conducive business environment which will increase compliance.
TRA could have built such kind of friendly environment by interacting directly with their clients, a move that will make TRA discover reality of business environment in the country.
The government in Gator region has urged the central bank to establish a branch in the region. This is to enable them to store gold, as the region has big tax collections from gold and a gold refinery plant that has contributed to value addition of the minerals.
The value of gold is stable. If only we had gold reserve at the central bank, perhaps our economy could have been improved further. Despite any challenge our nation could have faced, we could have remained economically firm. Having a refinery means that once gold is ready, it takes just a few meters for it to reach its storage area.
And sports news is next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Len.
And now in sports. Tanzania Amputee Football Federation TAF has designed the number 13 jersey of the national team Tembo Warriors in honor of former player and head of finance Nestori Luguliayo, who died 40 days ago.
But also as a legend who has played a lot of games, including basketball, weightlifting, and he had concentrated much on football, where until the end he participated in the African Championships, and he was among those who enhanced Tembo Warriors to qualify for the 2022 World Cup.
The national cricket team head coach Steve Tikolo is satisfied with the performance of his players despite being out of the game for 2 months.
Tumefanya wiki yote ile imepita, tumefanya mazoezi. We had training the whole of last week. In game skills, I'm happy to say that the quality is still there among the players, despite resting for almost 2 months. The quality is still there. The challenge is in the fitness.
Dean Smith, the Aston Villa manager, said he has no problem with Tyrone Mings joining 4,000 people on a Black Lives Matter demonstration in Birmingham this month, saying that so long as physical distancing measures are respected, he is happy for his players to promote important causes.
Smith, whose side will host Sheffield United when the Premier League reboots on Wednesday, is acutely aware of the dangers of the coronavirus. Villa's own lone goalkeeper Pepe Reina was seriously ill with 18 March as one of the club's masseurs who spent weeks in intensive care before recovering. In May, Smith lost his father Ron to COVID-19. The 79-year-old had been suffering with dementia for some time. The manager was at least thankful he was able to say goodbye to his father.
Mikel Arteta is optimistic that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will sign a new contract at Arsenal, but accepts his captain needs to be sold on the club's plans for the future before committing to an extended stay.
Aubameyang's deal expires next summer, and he recently told French media that while talks with Arsenal had taken place, no fresh offer has been forthcoming. He turns 31 on Thursday and suggested he faces a very difficult decision. But Arteta, who said before the COVID-19 shutdown that he wants to keep the striker under any circumstances, believes a resolution is in sight as long as his ambitions can be satisfied. Arteta had originally intended to advance talks before the end of the season, but that aim was complicated when football paused.
China has been invited to host 2 Formula One races in Shanghai this season, but no decision has been reached over whether to accept the offer, according to the head of the Shanghai Sports Bureau.
The Chinese Grand Prix was supposed to take place at the Shanghai International Circuit on 19th of April, but was postponed until later in the year because of the coronavirus outbreak. Formula One management firm still hopes to run 15 to 18 races this year and has announced a revised and shortened provisional European schedule set to start in Austria without spectators on 5th of July. The coronavirus emerged in the central Chinese city of Wuhan late last year and has now infected more than 8 million people worldwide. Beijing officials reported 27 new confirmed cases for 15th of June on Tuesday, stoking fears of a second wave of the respiratory disease.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.